Picture this, you're standing in a motorcycle dealership, heart racing, palms sweating, staring at row after row of gleaming machines. Which one won't buck you off like an angry Bronco on your first ride? Today, we're counting down the top 15 lightweight motorcycles that'll turn you from a nervous newbie into a confident road warrior without breaking your back or your bank account. Number 15. Let's kick things off with the mighty munchkin of motorcycles, the Honda Grom. Weighing in at just 224 pounds fully fueled, this 125cc pocket rocket has become nothing short of a cultural phenomenon since hitting American shores in 2014. The Grom traces its DNA back to Honda's legendary monkey bike from 1963, but this modern interpretation has created its own subculture of riders who've turned parking lot stunting into an art form. The air-cooled single produces 9.7 horsepower at 7,250 RPM with 7.7 pound-feet of torque, numbers that sound laughable until you realize this thing only needs to move 224 pounds. The 2025 model comes with a 5-speed transmission, programmed fuel injection with a 24mm throttle body, and that distinctive LED headlight setup that makes it unmistakable on the street. With a 30-inch seat height and a 47.2-inch wheelbase, it's more go-kart than motorcycle, which is exactly the point. At around $6,300 MSRP, it's cheap enough that dropping it won't require therapy. The 1.6-gallon fuel tank might seem tiny, but when you're getting 134 miles per gallon, range anxiety becomes a foreign concept. This is the bike that teaches you that motorcycling doesn't always have to be serious. Sometimes it's about grinning like an idiot at 35 miles per hour. If you're digging this countdown of beginner-friendly rides, smash that hype button, YouTube's new way to boost channels you love. Help us hit the trending page so more riders can find their perfect first bike. Rolling in at number 14, the Royal Enfield Meteor 350 brings classic cruiser aesthetics without intimidating weight. At 421 pounds ready to ride with its 349cc single-cylinder thumper producing 20.2 horsepower at 6,100 RPM and 20 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM, this Indian-built beauty represents Royal Enfield's modern renaissance. The company that supplied motorcycles to British forces during both world wars completely reimagined itself for contemporary riders. The Meteor's 30.1-inch saddle height and forward controls create that classic cruiser triangle without requiring a forklift to pick up after a parking lot tip-over. What distinguishes this machine is the Tripper Navigation Pod, a Bluetooth-connected, Google-powered turn-by-turn display that seems almost anachronistic on such a classically styled motorcycle. The J-Platform engine, introduced in 2020, features a counterbalancer shaft that eliminates the paint-shaking vibrations that plagued earlier Enfields. With dual-channel ABS, LED lighting throughout, and a 15-liter fuel tank good for over 300 miles of range, this isn't some retro-styled garage queen. Starting at $4,899 for the Supernova trim with windscreen and passenger backrest, it's priced competitively with Japanese offerings while delivering character those bikes can't match. The Meteor proves that modern technology and vintage soul aren't mutually exclusive. Coming in at 13, the Honda CB500F demonstrates that middleweight motorcycles don't have to be intimidating. This 471cc parallel twin weighs 414 pounds fully fueled, and generates 47.6 horsepower at 8,600 RPM, right at the European A2 license limit, which is no coincidence. When Honda developed this platform in 2013, they specifically targeted the 35 kilowatt restriction that new European riders face for their first 2 years. The genius wasn't just meeting that limit, but creating 3 distinct motorcycles, the CB500F Naked, the CBR 500R Sport Bike, and CB500X Adventure, all sharing the same bulletproof engine. This platform strategy keeps development costs down and parts availability high, meaning you'll never struggle to find maintenance items. The 2025 CB500F features full LED lighting, an assist and slipper clutch to prevent rear wheel hop during aggressive downshifts, and revised suspension settings for improved comfort. The 31.1-inch seat height hits the sweet spot for average height riders, while the steel diamond tube frame provides predictable handling without the twitchiness of sportier alternatives. At approximately $7,000, it costs more than our smaller displacement options, but the extra power means you won't immediately outgrow it. This is motorcycling's equivalent of a Toyota Camry, utterly dependable, surprisingly capable, and completely drama-free. At number 12, the Yamaha YZF R3 brings authentic supersport DNA to the entry-level segment. This 375-pound wet screamer packs a 321cc parallel twin that spins to 10,750 RPM, producing 42 horsepower and 21.8 pound-feet of torque through a 180-degree crankshaft that gives it an almost exotic exhaust note. Yamaha revolutionized the small displacement sport bike category when they launched the R3 in 2015, replacing the dated R25 with something that actually looked and felt like its bigger R6 and R1 siblings. The high-revving engine character teaches new riders about maintaining corner speed rather than relying on point-and-shoot power delivery. This educational aspect has made the R3 the dominant force in Moto America's Twins Cup, where future AMA Superbike champions learn racecraft. The 2025 model benefits from inverted front forks, a rarity in this class, dual-channel ABS, and bodywork that wouldn't look out of place on a MotoGP grid. The 30.7-inch seat height and clip-on handlebars create an aggressive but manageable riding position that won't destroy your wrists during commutes. At around $5,500, you're getting a legitimate track weapon that happens to be street legal. Fuel economy hovers around 56 miles per gallon, proving that performance and efficiency aren't mutually exclusive concepts. Number 11 takes us into dual sport territory with the Honda CRF 300L, weighing just 309 pounds wet and ready to tackle anything from rush hour traffic to Rocky Mountain trails. The liquid-cooled 286cc single produces 27 horsepower and 19 pound-feet of torque, numbers that might seem modest until you're climbing a steep dirt trail where tractable power matters more than peak output. Honda's dual sport heritage stretches back to the XL series of the 1970s, machines that proved riders didn't need separate street and dirt bikes. The CRF 300L evolved from the CRF 250L when Honda bored out the engine in 2021, adding crucial mid-range grunt that transformed it from adequate to genuinely entertaining. The 34.7-inch seat height sounds intimidating, but the narrow 8.8-inch seat width means even shorter riders can dab a foot down confidently. Ground clearance measures 11.2 inches, enough to clear serious obstacles without turning speed bumps into launching ramps. Full LED lighting, a digital instrument cluster with gear position indicator, and that legendary Honda reliability make this more than just a weekend toy. The 2.1-gallon tank might seem small, but with 70+ miles per gallon capability, you're looking at 140-mile range. This machine teaches you that adventure doesn't require a 1200cc behemoth. Cracking our top 10, the Kawasaki Z400 delivers naked bike attitude without overwhelming inexperienced riders. At 366 pounds wet with a 399cc parallel twin producing 45 horsepower at 10,000 RPM and 28 pound-feet of torque at 8,000 RPM, it's essentially a Ninja 400 that went to therapy and dropped its full fairing complex. Kawasaki's strategic decision in 2019 to create this naked variant of their class-leading Ninja 400 capitalized on riders wanting sport bike performance without the committed riding position. The engine's broad power band builds predictably from idle to its 11,500 RPM redline, no sudden power surges or valleys to catch you off guard. The trellis frame, borrowed directly from the Ninja, provides exceptional rigidity while keeping weight minimal. A 30.9-inch seat height and upright handlebars create a commanding view of traffic, essential for urban survival. The 2025 model includes assist and slipper clutch technology, LED lighting throughout, and that aggressive Tsugomi design language that makes it look far more expensive than its $5,399 price tag suggests. The 3.7-gallon fuel tank provides genuine touring capability, while 50+ mpg economy keeps fuel stops infrequent. This is the machine that proves naked bikes aren't just sport bikes with broken fairings. They're a legitimate category with their own advantages. At number 9, Germany's engineering meets India's manufacturing efficiency in the BMW G310R, a collaboration that raised eyebrows when announced in 2013. This 349-pound wet-weight roadster, powered by a 313cc single, producing 34 horsepower at 9,250 RPM, represents BMW Motorrad's successful assault on the entry-level market. Built by TVS Motor Company in India, the G310R shatters preconceptions about what a budget BMW can be. The reverse inclined engine design, intake front, exhaust rear, optimizes mass centralization, a detail that matters when you're learning proper cornering technique. The 2025 model features ride-by-wire throttle control, adjustable brake and clutch levers, and a slipper clutch, technology that would have been supercar exclusive just 2 decades ago. The steel tubular frame and 41mm inverted front fork provide handling precision that belies the modest price point. At 30.9 inches, the seat accommodates most riders, while the 5.3-inch ground clearance handles real-world road imperfections. Priced around $5,000, it's BMW's most affordable motorcycle, yet it doesn't feel like they cut corners. The 11-liter fuel tank and claimed 30 km per liter economy translate to respectable range. This motorcycle proves that premium brands can play in the entry-level space without diluting their reputation. Number 8 brings Scandinavian minimalism via Austria with the Husqvarna Vitpillen 401, the thinking rider's choice that somehow undercuts its KTM Duke 390 platform mate by 8 pounds, weighing just 362 pounds fueled. The familiar 373cc single produces 44 horsepower, but wrapped in bodywork that looks like it escaped from a Stockholm design museum. When KTM resurrected Husqvarna in 2014, few expected them to create something this distinctively different from their orange machines. Vitpilen, Swedish for White Arrow, perfectly captures this cafe racer's ethos: purposeful, minimalist, and slightly uncomfortable in pursuit of style. The low-slung clip-on handlebars and rear-set foot pegs create an aggressive riding position that your back will question after an hour. Yet somehow, that discomfort feels intentional, like wearing fashionable but slightly tight Italian shoes. The WP Apex suspension, Brembo brakes, and quickshifter come standard, specifications that would shame bikes costing twice as much. The 32.7-inch seat height might seem tall, but the narrow profile compensates. At around $5,500, you're paying a premium over the mechanically similar Duke, but you're buying into an aesthetic that generates conversations at every stop. This machine attracts creative types who view motorcycles as rolling sculpture that happens to provide transportation. Lucky 7 goes to the Suzuki SV650, the professor emeritus of beginner motorcycles that's educated riders since 1999. At 437 pounds wet with a 645cc 90-degree V-twin producing 75 horsepower at 8,500 RPM, it pushes our lightweight definition, but earns inclusion through sheer approachability. This machine essentially invented the middleweight naked category and became the foundation for countless racing careers. The V-twin configuration eliminates the need for balance shafts, keeping weight down while delivering the distinctive exhaust pulse that parallel twins can't replicate. The 2017 onward third generation returned to naked roots after the unsuccessful Gladius rebrand, proving that original ideas often work best. That 30.9-inch seat height combines with a narrow tank and frame to make the weight manageable. Low RPM assist prevents embarrassing stalls at traffic lights, while the smooth power delivery builds progressively rather than arriving in intimidating chunks. Racing schools worldwide choose SV650s because they reward smooth inputs while forgiving minor mistakes. The steel trellis frame provides feedback without harshness, teaching proper cornering technique naturally. At roughly $7,400, it costs more than our smaller entries, but this is a motorcycle you might keep forever. The SV650 proves that beginner bike doesn't mean disposable bike. Sliding into 6th, the Honda Rebel 500 demolishes stereotypes about cruisers being exclusively for older riders with bad backs. This 414-pound wet Rebel uses Honda's proven 471cc parallel twin, producing 45.6 horsepower, wrapped in bobber-inspired bodywork that attracts riders who wouldn't be caught dead on a traditional cruiser. The Rebel nameplate dates to 1985, but the 2017 redesign abandoned everything except the badge, creating something that genuinely worried Harley-Davidson's marketing department. The 27.2-inch seat height, lowest on our list, plants both feet firmly at stops, crucial for building confidence. The 2025 iteration adds full LED lighting, including the distinctive circular headlight that's become the Rebel's signature. The assistant slipper clutch prevents embarrassing rear wheel lockups during ham-fisted downshifts, while the blacked-out aesthetic says urban tough without trying too hard. Fat 16-inch wheels provide stability while maintaining agility in city traffic. The tubular steel frame uses the engine as a stressed member, reducing weight while maintaining rigidity. Optional accessories include everything from windscreens to saddlebags, transforming this from bar hopper to legitimate tourer. Starting around $6,400, it's priced between entry-level and premium, exactly where it belongs. The Rebel 500 proves cruisers can be both accessible and cool. At 5, the Royal Enfield Hunter 350 takes the Meteor's proven J platform and creates something lighter, sportier, and more urban-focused at just 396 pounds wet. Using the same 349cc air-cooled single producing 20.2 horsepower but with revised cam timing for peppier response, the Hunter targets younger riders seeking style without sacrificing daily usability. Launched globally in 2022, the Hunter represents Royal Enfield's most successful attempt at capturing metropolitan riders who park on sidewalks and filter through traffic. The design deliberately references scrambler aesthetics from the 60s, when riders would strip down street bikes for weekend trail adventures. The 31.5-inch seat height splits the difference between cruiser low and adventure tall, while the 17-inch wheels with dual-purpose tires handle occasional dirt roads. The Hunter's telescopic front fork and twin rear shocks provide a more connected feel than the Meteor's conventional cruiser suspension. Digital analog instrumentation blends modern functionality with retro charm. Starting at just $4,349 for the Metro variant, it undercuts Japanese competition while offering comparable build quality, something unthinkable from Royal Enfield just a decade ago. The 13-liter tank provides 300-plus mile range, making this genuinely tour-capable despite its city-focused design. The Hunter proves that affordable doesn't mean compromised. Number 4 brings Neo Sports Cafe sophistication with the Honda CB300R, a 370-pound minimalist masterpiece powered by a 286cc liquid-cooled single producing 31 horsepower at 8,500 RPM. Launched globally in 2018 as the baby brother to the CB1000R, this machine brings premium engineering to the entry-level segment. The steel tubular trellis frame, not a budget-conscious steel tube frame, provides big bike rigidity while showcasing the engine as a stressed member. Those 41mm inverted forks aren't just for show, they provide superior feedback compared to conventional right side up units common at this price point. The 4-piston radial mount front brake caliper grips a 296mm floating disc with authority that embarrasses bikes with twice the displacement. The IMU-based ABS prevents lockups while learning threshold braking. Full LED lighting includes a round headlight that manages to look both retro and futuristic simultaneously. The 31.5-inch seat height and narrow 180mm width make urban maneuvering effortless. Digital instrumentation provides all necessary information without overwhelming new riders with excessive data. At around $5,000, it's priced premium for a 300cc machine, but the sophistication justifies every penny. The CB300R teaches that displacement doesn't determine quality, execution does. Number 3. Yamaha MT-03. Taking bronze, the Yamaha MT-03 perfectly balances the YZF R3's brilliant engine with ergonomics that won't require weekly chiropractor visits. At 373 pounds wet, with the same high-revving 321cc parallel twin producing 42 horsepower, it transforms commuting from chore to highlight. Yamaha's Master of Torque series revolutionized naked bikes when the MT-09 launched in 2014, bringing aggressive transformer-inspired styling to every displacement category. The MT-03 inherits this design DNA, featuring that distinctive Predator face LED headlight that's become Yamaha's signature. The steel Delta Box frame provides predictable handling without the nervousness of aluminum alternatives. Suspension tuning favors compliance over track-focused stiffness. Your spine will appreciate this during pothole season. The 30.7-inch seat height and upright handlebars create a natural riding position that builds confidence. Unlike its R3 sibling, the MT-03's wider handlebars provide better leverage for low-speed maneuvering, crucial for navigating parking lots without embarrassment. The 14-liter fuel tank delivers 300+ mile range when combined with 56 mpg economy. ABS comes standard, preventing panic brake lockups that catch many new riders. At $5,200, it undercuts the Kawasaki Z400 while delivering comparable thrills. The MT-03 proves that practical and exciting aren't opposite ends of a spectrum, they're dance partners. Our runner-up, the Kawasaki Ninja 400, has dominated the beginner sport bike category since its 2018 introduction, and for excellent reasons. Weighing 366 pounds wet with a 399cc parallel twin producing 49 horsepower at 10,000 RPM, the highest output here, it delivers genuine sport bike performance without overwhelming novices. Kawasaki's engineers obsess over weight reduction, using a trellis frame that's both lighter and stiffer than the previous generation's backbone design. The result handles like a much more expensive machine. The engine's broad torque curve means you're not constantly shifting to stay in the power band, crucial when you're still mastering clutch control. LED headlights, a gear position indicator, and an easy-to-read analog tachometer with digital speedometer help new riders focus on the road, not the instruments. The assist and slipper clutch prevents rear-wheel hop during aggressive downshifts, potentially saving crashes. At 30.9 inches, the seat height works for most riders, while the slightly relaxed clip-on position compared to pure race replicas means you can actually ride for more than 20 minutes. Professional racing teams choose Ninja 400s for their junior programs, validating its credentials. At $5,700, it's not the cheapest option, but it's undoubtedly among the best. Claiming our crown, the KTM 390 Duke proves that beginner bikes can be properly mad while remaining manageable. The latest generation weighs 362 pounds wet with a new 399cc single producing 46 horsepower at 8,500 RPM and 39 Nm at 6,500 RPM, class-leading torque that transforms every commute into a supermoto session. Since 2013, the Duke has been the hooligan's choice, teaching riders that smooth inputs yield spectacular results while punishing sloppiness immediately. The 2025 model reads like a superbike spec sheet. WP Apex suspension with adjustable compression and rebound, 5-inch TFT display with smartphone connectivity, lean-sensitive cornering ABS, traction control with 3 modes, and legitimate launch control. That's not a typo, launch control on a beginner bike. The steel trellis frame uses the engine as a stressed member, contributing to the remarkably low weight. Michelin Power 6 tires provide serious grip for aggressive cornering. The Quick Shifter Plus enables clutchless up and down shifts, technology that was exotic supercar territory just years ago. The 32.1-inch seat height might challenge shorter riders, but the narrow profile helps. At approximately $6,000, it costs more than Japanese alternatives while demanding more frequent maintenance. But when you're exploiting every one of those 46 horses through your favorite corners, those considerations evaporate. The 390 Duke doesn't just teach you to ride, it teaches you to ride properly. There you have it, 15 lightweight machines that'll transform you from nervous newbie into confident rider. Whether drawn to the Grom's playful personality, Royal Enfield's classic charm, or KTM's controlled chaos, remember, the best bike is the one that gets you riding. These aren't just stepping stones to bigger machines, they're proper motorcycles that happen to forgive beginner mistakes. So gear up, take that safety course, and join the two-wheeled brotherhood. Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and drop a comment with your pick for the best beginner bike. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Ride safe!